All right, we're live on the podcast. I know that Anthony, Nick, Manny, I know you guys been chatting on the YouTube there for a minute. Sorry it took so long to get on, but let's see. Somebody's calling right now. Rock 1 2.1, what's up?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I called someone. Sorry.
You're calling for those tickets, but you didn't get them, right?
Well, sort of.
Yeah. What else?
It's kind of the wrong number.
That's what I thought.
Man.
Well, who are you trying to call?
And I tried to call, but I couldn't. I wasn't successful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I get it. You trust me. I'm having one of those Mondays as well. So, well, good luck in reaching whoever you got to call.
Did you have a good time, man?
I did have a good time, man. Did you have a good time?
That's great.
Yeah.
They always
What's up?
have a good.
All right, you have a good one too. It's good hearing from you.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Let me have that moment. You're like, wrap it up. Like, no, man, I got to talk to this guy for the next 3 hours.
Oh, I was about to wrap it up.
Oh.
He's familiar. Did he call last week? I think he might have called.
Yeah. I think we're on a speed dial. You know, he's
Funny.
a special man.
Yeah.
Special man doing special things. You know, I just looking through my messages and yeah, Eric Gladden hasn't been around in forever. What'd you do to piss him off?
Which, again, I thought that's because we weren't his best friend.
I guess, yeah.
And you didn't invite him to a party.
Well,
like
that was in
10 months
November.
ago.
Yeah. I know. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the podcast broadcast. As it just Powers and I chilling on this Monday morning and recovering from a late night, as always.
Right. Don't be fooled by those airwaves. That was a Rico from the past.
Yes, it was Rico from the past. Fantastic. Pre-recorded half show, and then we've been in here live, holding it down since about 8:15 this morning, and feeling good. You know, so that extra hour sleep, it went a long ways, but I'm still brain dead, dude. I can't wait to get home and nap it up.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of things I want to cover here on this podcast broadcast, though. I was thinking about, I want to show you a bunch of pictures. I want to go down memory lane.
Yay. I love memory lane.
I know. Yeah. You live right across the street from memory lane.
True.
So I was looking at my page, my Beef Vegan Presents page, which was my TMI. Good morning, Jose. That was Drunk Bob. Okay, I'll call him Drunk Bob. So I was looking at my Beef Vegan Presents page, which was my former TMI page, my show page from Phoenix. And so I have a lot of shit on there from way back in the day. And as I was going through it, I was like, oh yeah, this jogs up memories. This brings back memories because there's a lot of stuff I forgot. Like, oh yeah, I had that person in, because I think what did it is there's this band called Lawrence. I mean, obviously with Andy passing away, I was getting nostalgic there, but there's a band called Lawrence as well that is posting on the charts for Billboard. They're blowing up. And I remember having them at my house up in Glendale, and and so seeing them, that's just another one of those bands where it's like hipster moments. You knew them back then, and
sure.
On the struggle, and now they're getting to the point where they just performed at Coachella, and they killed it at Coachella, and they just performed on, I think, Jimmy Kimmel Live, and they killed it on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and then their single is like racking up spins across the country and going up the Billboard charts, and it's amazing because they're good kids. So I started looking through my pictures here. And let me go to my albums. I'm going to show you some stuff. There would be some offensive stuff on here, by the way.
Yay.
So, yeah. So, fair warning. I'm going to go way back. So, like studio guests. All right. So, you recognize that guy?
Oh. I think so. What's his name? Refresh me.
Faison Love.
Okay.
Big Worm.
Yeah.
Big Worm up in the building and stuff. Faison was a good guest. You recognize that guy, don't you? In Living Color?
Oh, no kidding.
Tommy Davidson.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I would not have recognized Tommy, but I know Tommy Davidson, obviously.
Tommy Davidson was actually really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, he came in with like...
He's funny.
Yeah, he's funny, legitimately, but he came in with an aura and attitude like he's just as big as Jim Carrey. And he's not. But, so... And it's not like he was like a dick. It's just kind of like, yeah, I'm fucking Tommy Davidson, like funniest man on the planet. Funnier than Jim Carrey. I was in the same movie as Jim Carrey. Yeah, I mean, it's his movie. He got paid $20 million for it. I got paid $350, but I'm Tommy Davidson. I'm funny. So that was my feel of Tommy. But again, super nice. Look at the loving embrace. And so Greg Fitzsimmons, who's a stand-up comedian. This is the first time I had Tom Green in studio.
Nice.
Yeah. Tom is always a good guest. Fucking Biff from Back to the Future.
Hell yeah. Did he give you one of those cards that he carries around?
He did. And he also signed my wall, and he was the tallest guest. So he put it up there. And the funny thing about Tom Wilson, who played Biff, is his backstory. Because he's a stand-up comedian.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize he was a stand-up comedian. I just knew him from being Biff at Back to the Future. And he's like a singer. He's a musician, stand-up comedian. So he performed some songs for us. He was super cool. But then he talked about being in the comedy room, growing up and, starting his career out in the comedy room. And he was one of those featured comedians that Mitzi Shore, which is Pauly Shore's mom, who owns the Comedy Store, would put up in a townhouse behind the Comedy Store. He was one of 4 comedians that all lived together during that time. It was him, Yakov Smirnoff, Andrew Dice Clay, and Sam Kinison.
There's a house.
A fucking house, dude. Biff from Back to the Future lived with those 3 icons comedically. And he said it was like one of the most miserable experiences of his life because Sam Kinison would go hard in the paint and throw like massive parties. So he would come home or wake up in the morning just stepping over naked, coked out, LA ladies. Yes, on a consistent basis. So that's that. Tom, when he was here, Tom Green in this moment was at a stage in his life where he had so much built up resentment towards pop culture and his fan base and YouTube.
I remember some of that.
Yeah. So he would say, he didn't even want the interview filmed because he's just like, this is radio. Let's keep it on radio. He was so mad at YouTube for essentially stealing all of his ideas and him financially struggling at the time where he had to go out on the road and start, his stand-up comedy career. And that's how he was able to sustain. But he invested a lot of money in streaming his own live show, his own talk show. And this was unfortunately the timing. Like we're streaming on YouTube right now, right? And StreamYard, the program, cost me $25 a month. That's the cost, but that's nothing. What Tom Green did was essentially this on a grander scale, and he funded it himself. But the stream back then, and this is 2009, 2010, was thousands upon thousands of dollars a month.
It's because it almost costs you money to be successful. It's like, oh, you got all these listeners, so now you're using this much bandwidth, so we're going to charge you this.
Yeah, no, and he had to have his own servers, and I mean, there was a lot of stuff. So he had this energy about him, and it wasn't towards any of us. He liked us, and he related to me and my show because he started his show in a basement. So initially, he right off the bat, he's like, oh, we're kindred spirits. I did the same thing. And it was super cool. And every time I talk to Tom Green, he still remembers me. It's always a good time.
That's
Joe
nice.
Coy just performed at the TCC. So it's Joe there, Tom again, and a different Tom. So Tom 2, Bert Kreischer, right?
Oh, Bert. No kidding.
Yeah, Bert's a good dude. And these are all pictures in my house.
That's pretty rad. That's a lot of fun comedians too. Yeah.
Oh, these are.
Why don't we have more comedians?
Well, because we're in Tucson and they don't necessarily come through town. And now, if they do go through town, they're going to the TCC, and you got to deal with publicists and all types of bullshit. But yeah, the problem is, and here's the thing: like I developed a relationship with a lot of these comedians, but this is over a decade. The funny thing about all these comedians is because they were all getting like pulling up to a house on the west side. Right, which is my house, and it wasn't like a mansion, but it wasn't a crack house. It was somewhere in between. It was just a very humble home. All right, and all these comedians would all say the same thing. They immediately like look at their watch or pretend to have a watch, like, ooh, something came up, got like maybe 5 minutes. I could do like 5 minutes, but then I gotta run. Something came up, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine, and they'd sit down. And this is before the podcast blew up, right? But I was essentially doing podcasts. I'm doing hour-long conversations with them, freeform, and just letting it flow. And I would start talking with them, and then the conversation go good. Next thing you know, it's 10 a.m., my show's over, and they're still hanging out. And then like 20, 30 minutes after the show, I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, I got shit I got to do, guys. You got to
clip this together.
You got to get the fuck out. So every single time. And Todd was there. He knows. All right, let's get on the air. Rock 1 2.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. There's some television news that I'm really excited about, and there's not too many things to get excited about when it comes to TV.
Yeah.
But especially when it comes to reboots, I mean, we're in the age of nostalgia. Everybody wants to know, wants the same stuff that was great way back when.
Yep.
If I watch a show that's rebooted of a time that I was happy, maybe I'll be happy again. Maybe it'll fix the economy. Maybe it'll fix the gas prices. Because when that 70s show was on, gas prices were only $1.50. Now the 70s show is coming back. They're going to be calling it the 90s show. And
Really?
a lot of the original cast members are coming back as well. Yeah. No, and I'm actually not too upset about that, but it's not going to be fantastic. What I'm excited about, though, is the reboot and return of Married with Children.
Oh, animated.
Yes.
Yep.
You saw this?
Yes.
And the animated part is what makes me excited about it.
Yeah.
You don't want to see modern day Married with Children with the current cast in their physical form because David Faustino is creepy. But, they're all four returning, which is fantastic. And they all sound like themselves.
Sure.
And, of course, that's the beauty of animation is that you can internalize them. You can make them forever young. And so with Married with Children coming back, I think it's Netflix too. That's
Really?
that's like a modern day Family Guy for me.
Yeah, it kind of is. I hope that it is has that spin. I hope it's not. There's a part of me that's weird because they can be way more over the top because they're a cartoon, but I don't want it to be too over the top like a cartoon. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Well, I mean, if you remember Married with Children and
It gets
Okay
very
Boomer,
cartoony.
yeah, you kidding me? Like, how many times have you seen
He
Al
falls
Bundy
off.
fall off the roof?
He falls off the roof. And it's just a mannequin. It's
Yeah.
funny. No, it is. It gets very cartoony. It's true.
Yeah. Now, I mean, sure, that might have been the latter part of the season, but still, I think the formula is still there. And animated Bundys, I'm saying sign me up.
Yeah.
And there's no word yet where it will air. So I was assuming Netflix, but maybe not. But they are coming back, and all four characters are going to voice their original characters, which stoke.
Yeah.
So speaking of TV news, did you know that we have watched over 4 trillion minutes of TV since September? This, according to a recent survey between September 20th of last year to May 8th, broadcasters and streamers analyzed, and they combined the cumulative minutes watched, and 4 trillion was the number. The breakdown is like this, and this is finally some good news for Netflix because over the past couple of weeks, it's been dismay, right? Everything about Netflix has been really bad. Their subscriber count is down. People are canceling their accounts and whatever, and stock prices are dropping and people are selling.
Yeah.
So they need some good news. Well, this is good news for them. Out of all of these major networks, Netflix is number one with 1.33 trillion minutes watched.
I'm not surprised. Everyone can bag on Netflix a bit, but I think it's still kind of the standard for a lot of people. I know my parents just aren't going to ever cancel their Netflix. It's just kind of there.
Right. It's,
Yeah.
But how many of those minutes and stuff weren't really watched, but just were in the background while you were sleeping?
Yeah. How many minutes we're just going through the screen trying to choose what to watch?
Well, that adds up. That adds up. Second place was CBS with 752.8 billion.
Big drop.
Yeah. That's like almost less than half.
Yeah.
So Netflix is in the lead by 2.
Where's
Doubling.
Disney?
Disney didn't even make the top 5.
Wow.
Fifth place is Fox with 323 billion minutes. ABC got 471 billion minutes. NBC 596 billion minutes.
So these aren't just the streaming. This is like television, but Netflix happens to beat all of those channels. Wow.
Yes, and combined. I mean, all these places have streaming services as well now.
True.
But yeah, so yeah, that's great news for Netflix. We'll see if they'll be able to hold on to that title. They need one good thing.
Stranger Things is coming back. It's going to work.
I guess. We'll see.
Eh.
All right, well, let's hit the reset. We have more conversation. We're going down memory lane on the podcast broadcast. You can join us on the Facebook page or youtube.com/beefvegan. Doing a little slideshow, pictures I've taken way back when with my celebrity friends. Name drop. Oh, and so much more. So keep it right here. It's Rock 1 2.1 KFMA. Clear. All right, let's get back on this.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, look at Kyle. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Kyle.
Kyle's giving me compliments about roller derby. That
Yeah.
was one of my favorite things I've done for sure. I got a lot of good compliments. It was fun to do Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, did you get any video from that?
I did not. They took a bunch of video. Obviously, we can go to their Facebook page if you want. But it was a really good time. I can't wait to do even more of that because I love being a loud announcer at various events.
Yes, you do. And you have a bunch of events coming up.
Yep.
Yes, Steve, we should get a hold of Steve for sure. We've had him in before, and it's 191 Tool. Yeah, you're tourist. All right. Let's see. I think I have a picture of Steve coming up in here. All right, so that's Bert Kreischer, as you know. This is funny. Okay, so this is the Tres Amigos, something like that, or that was their name. So Al Madrigal, who you may recognize from
Yeah. What do I
the
know?
Daily Show.
Yep.
Yeah, so he was on Daily Show. He had his own show. I forgot his name. And then that's Carlos from Reno 911.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So Officer Garcia,
Oh,
you
yeah.
you recognize him with a mustache. And then, again, I forgot this guy. So, anyways, they were on this nationwide tour, the three of them, as like, as their Latino comedy act. And the night before, there was tension in the studio, right? They were kind of like fighting. Al was fighting with both Carlos and this dude. I think his name was Juan or something. Oh, they're 3 non-Juans is what they were called.
Right.
So his name's not Juan because he's a non-one.
He's a non-one.
Yeah. Anyways, there was tension because after the show the night before, these two were walking and talking shit about Al and accidentally butt dialed Al.
Really?
Yes. And it was one of those things where he was just so pissed off and shut down. And then he's like, I shouldn't even talk about it. Should I talk about it? And I'm like, yeah, we're here to talk. And this is on the air. And he's like, okay, yeah, let's talk about it. And he went into it. And I'm basically like, it was one of the most tense like energies in a room you could be in, and we're trying to troubleshoot and solve the problem and mediate what's happening amongst this like professional conflict. It was fantastic.
So he revealed even to them that like you idiots butt dialed me last night when you were talking.
They knew.
They knew at that point.
Yeah, they knew at the time. They knew they got caught.
Yeah.
They didn't know all that he heard, and they knew there was tension, and they just were too afraid to bring it up. And yeah, then so they brought it up right there on my show. And they like aired it out, and it was crazy. And I wish I had a lot of audio for this stuff. If I look in some of my old computers, I might have some.
You should find some.
You recognize this man?
I do.
Who?
Look at that.
What's his name?
JB Smoove.
JB Smoove, baby.
Yeah.
JB, man. That guy, he was cool. He stayed at my house till like 11:30. I had like a 2-hour podcast with him. We talked about SNL. We talked about Curb Your Enthusiasm. His wife is a musician, so I played some of her songs on the air. He really dug that. Super cool. He was also wearing basketball shorts, and I accidentally saw the outline of his penis. And let's just say, JB's pretty smooth. He lives up to his name. I do remember that. And then remember thinking like, oh, I hope I don't get caught. Monique Marquez, she actually just messaged me on Instagram. She was performing up in Glendale. She was one of the original Latin queens of comedy.
Okay.
Yeah, that was her. And she was a cougar. And this is her young boyfriend that was railing her for quite some time. Yeah, Monique has a good story. Tom Green again. Talia. The man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot Rod looking good.
I've already told the Hot Rod stories. Reverend Bob Levy of Howard Stern fame. This all in the same week of Tom Green and Roddy Piper. It was a busy week on the show.
That's fun.
That was my first week of celebrity guests, and I had 3 back to back to back.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Bert Kreischer again. Tom Green signing my wall. Let's see. Oh yeah. Hot Rod.
Nice.
Yeah,
I never saw that one.
Yeah, and I forgot about that one too. That's the thing. I'm looking through these. I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't see that. My boys, the Wiley ones. And they performed with Tom. Bob was cool. There's Tom Green jamming out on guitar just in my living room, as you would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like he hung out a lot.
No, I know. Like I said, and I think this was the first time, but yeah, I mean, the second time too, it was like just Tom Green. It was like an old friend coming over. Tom Green chilled. And like I said, he just like, he resonated with it. He's like, yeah, this is exactly like me and my friends. So immediately we were in.
Yeah.
We were in. And it was great talking with him. The fact that he even still remembered me was great. See, you see Todd with Bob Marley, goateed Todd.
Hell yeah. Look at that. I didn't recognize him.
Yeah. So Todd goes way back. There's Todd again. Younger Todd. Nancy with normal. Oh, there's some pictures. Oh, I'll show you another picture. Laugh track. I forgot this guy's name. He was a comedian as well. Oh, Steve Byrne. Steve Byrne is a legend. Sun Ghost is the band. Alfonso. You've seen him on TV too. Bowden. Alfonso Bowden was his name. Yeah, he was great. Obviously hit it off with us. I don't even know who those dudes are. Oh, I think I remember this dude. These are rapper guys. So I inadvertently booked a black rapper guest with a black comedian, and I was like, yeah, I went full urban radio that day. It was great. Let's see. Oh, that's Earthquake. Earthquake passed away, so R.I.P. Earthquake. All right, and then let's go down some other memory lane stuff because that's just the tip of the iceberg. Because we got crazy on there.
I would love if you could find some of this old crap and just cut it up and some best stuff, just mash it all together. Why not?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's my content.
Yeah, dude.
Conversations. The problem is, and this what sucks, timing is everything, resources is everything.
Time also is everything. Time is hard. You spend a lot of time working.
Yeah, well, as far as that, but I'm saying when I was having all these people on, you see a lot of these people that are like literally the who's who of the podcasting world today.
Mhm.
And, and so many times people are like, oh, you're in radio. You ever think about doing podcasts? Like, oh, yeah. Fuck you. Is the answer because, yeah, bitch, I've done podcasts for like before you knew what a podcast was. I was doing podcasts. And when I was doing the podcasts, right, here's the catch 22. I was doing podcasts with these guests and I'm on like Podomatic and I'm on streaming services. My podcasts were getting $10,000 to $50,000 50,000 downloads a podcast episode. My podcasts were blowing up, especially after Adam Carolla talked shit about me on his podcast.
Yeah.
And his podcast was the #1 podcast in the world at the time.
Yeah.
So just through that, him talking shit about Beef, Laugh Track, and Buddha, people Googled that. They found my podcast page, and then they saw all these great comedians and the conversations we were having. So it was great. But those downloads, right? And I couldn't show these to potential advertisers. I would show it, and they're just like, well, what does this mean? You have 50,000 people listening where, and I'm like, well, actually all over the world. So I wasn't getting McDonald's sponsoring or anything like that. So I couldn't make money off of it. And then I was getting so many downloads that I couldn't afford the streaming service.
Right.
It was Podomatic at the time.
Yeah, I had Podomatic, and it is. It's like, if you have 3 shows, after that, you basically have to like buy premium, which is a lot. And then they charge you per bandwidth and download.
Exactly. So I was paying for the premium, but yes, it made it to the point where it would have cost me over $500 a month based off how many downloads we were getting.
Right.
And there was no way to monetize at the time.
And you can see that even still, it's not like McDonald's sponsors podcasts. Like podcast sponsors are very unique and niche and a little off-brand these days still.
Well, I hate to correct you, but McDonald's now is in the podcast game. Absolutely.
Absolutely. When you hear most podcasts, it is for various products, not as many mainstream things.
Well, you're talking about your wrestling.
No, I'm not. I'm serious. Come on. That's not a joke. Like
No,
it
I'm
is
not.
things like
Well-
Keeps, and it is things that are like the chairs for gamers and old gaming companies and accessories. It's a lot of that, at least the very beginning of this. It's niche.
We're going to have to
products.
agree to disagree because I
All right.
think that's, target advertising. And so you're seeing what you're seeing because you're targeted. And that's why. So, but that's the thing with podcast advertising now is that they could literally see just based off your IP address, what's your age, your background, and everything else. Be like, okay, here's a 40-year-old white guy bachelor who likes wrestling and video games and comic books, and then you're getting that kind of stuff.
I'm talking about the actual people that like, this is my podcast. And by the way, thanks to Clutch Chairs for getting me a chair, not the actual algorithm stuff that you get fed.
Right.
I mean, their actual podcast that they say.
Yeah. And what is their actual podcast that they're on?
Like the comedian podcast, there are the wrestling podcasts I listen to, sure. But the gaming ones,
Gaming
like you
ones,
do
exactly.
see.
So that all coincides with the products that they're, selling.
Yes,
so.
they're getting endorsed by things in their brand.
Right. But if you listen to like an NPR or Serial or shit like that, then some of those
Sure, because
like
that's
bigger,
also
broader things.
they were bigger already and then started podcasting, which is why, like, oh, you already sponsor National Public Radio, McDonald's. Yeah, you're going to sponsor their podcast now.
Well,
I get that.
right. So
but-
we agreed to disagree.
Well, again, I'm agreeing with you where it was hard to get the sponsor program. The way people thought about podcasts didn't yet exist, where you can go find these sponsors that are willing to
Right.
give a podcast and not 50,000 views. What does that even mean? Now today, be like 50,000 views, Beef. What can we do?
Yeah.
Because that's a lot now.
Yeah, that's funny. Melissa Kyle's Bert is my celebrity crush. Don't know why. He's a very crushable guy. Crush that dude. And yes, yeah, that was everyone's weekend. Hope you guys had a good weekend. We have a bunch of videos and clips to share. It was a rock and roll filled weekend. How many of you on the stream went to Smashing Pumpkins last night? Did any of you? Because then
That
why
was
didn't you
good.
say hi?
Yeah, it was a good show. I also had never really been to Ava, so that was a great venue. I
Mhm.
think that was pretty nice looking.
Yeah, no, it
Nice
was my first
outside.
time. It was my first time at Ava too.
Was it?
Yeah,
Oh no. kidding.
absolutely. It was fantastic. 25 seconds. Yeah, well, keep in mind, I was on a classic rock station for 3 years, and then,
All right. That's right.
and I don't make money, so it's not like I'm buying those tickets. I saw the price of the tickets where we were sitting. Tickets would have been $138 a piece, and then the lawn tickets were $66 a piece. So not
a
cheap.
lot. That's fair.
That's before fees and shit.
Okay.
Fair. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. I came across a list that BuzzFeed put together. I thought was funny. These are the random things that baby boomers are completely obsessed with. And you know the saying by now, okay, boomer. So baby boomer is an older generation, and there's several generations in between a baby boomer and the kids today. So we're leaning towards baby boomer status, even though we're not. We're not even millennials. We're like zillennials.
Zenennials, yeah.
Some stupid.
We're in a little pocket because 1980 to like 1985.
Right. Now, boomers and millennials, they just can't stop bickering with each other. So here's the latest that someone has collected of the list of random things that boomers are completely obsessed with that make no sense to millennials. And they include this. First and foremost, the thumbs up emoji.
It's too much.
Using a ton of those in text. Everything's a thumbs up, and they are obsessed with it. I don't know why. What's a go-to emoji for you?
Oh, I think I heard this is the boom is the LO, the laughing one.
Yeah.
Is like the young generations, they don't like the laughing emoji. It's too much. People use it too much.
Yeah, that's true. I throw out that laughing emoji a lot, but I've been doing like the tilted one, the tilted laughing emoji.
You got to tilt it a little now. I think that helps.
Right. Yeah. So working on that. Maybe, and you drop the LOLs. You got to go to like the ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
So
I was always more of a ha 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 anyway.
Yeah, well, then that is probably not cool anymore. So I got to switch back to LOL. I don't know. Like trends, they flip on a dime.
Keep giving me more. That was just one.
Now I am giving you more.
Giving me.
I'm not done with segment.
I know. I'm eager to hear more.
Complaining about younger generations not knowing and using cursive.
Yeah, all right. They got to get over cursive at this point.
Right. Do you still write cursive? Can you?
Of course I can. Yeah, I can write cursive, but no.
Yeah, exactly.
I've always written in print and in all caps like a comic book.
That's what we're going to have Austin do this Friday. We're going to see him write out a sentence in cursive and see if we can understand it.
Can he write?
I don't know. Can he read? I don't know.
No.
Yeah, we'll find out. All right, zooming in on every single picture and filming video with their iPads. Saw a couple boomers at the show last night do that.
Yeah.
I zoom in on every picture too, though, especially if it's a thirst trap. And then always leaving voicemails no matter what the situation. Mac does that to me constantly.
Yeah, he leaves voicemails.
Yeah. And then he'll text me telling me what he just said in the voicemail. So and then he'll call back and be like, "Did you get my text and voicemail? Let me tell you what I just said." And like, no, I did. I read it. I heard it. Oh, okay. We're just talking about it again. Oh, okay, boomer.
That's so
no.
funny.
I do love me some Mac. We'll keep this conversation moving on the podcast, Broadcast Stream Plus. We're going down memory lane. I got a lot of cool, fun throwback pictures that I'm going through, and it's jogging up memories. It's bringing up fond memories of a time back then, and we're just talking, good stuff on a Monday. So if you were at the Smashing Pumpkin show last night, join us on the stream. Let us know what you thought of it, and give us some of the stories from your experience. We want to hear it. It's Beef Vegan Presents at Rock 102.1 KFMA. You tell them kind of like,
that's all right. You're doing all right.
Yeah.
I remember my sister would send me these. She loves the war between the boomers and there was a list. And it was the funniest things. And one of them was like the side part. They're like, boomers are obsessed with the side part. Like that's part in your hair like that. And I'm like, that's like, isn't that just hair? They're like, no, that's boomer hair. I'm like, oh, okay. Because they all have big quaffs now.
Yeah.
It's so funny. The
side part does look good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Drinking from the hose and talking about drinking from the hose.
Talk about drinking from the hose.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's an 80s thing for sure.
Yeah, kids don't go outside anymore.
Yeah. Nautical themed bathrooms, including beach, lighthouse, and sailboat decor. Yeah.
That is every one of my mom's bathrooms.
Well, she's East Coast.
She's all day.
Yeah.
Nautical themed. We going sailing?
Yep. Yeah.
Got mermaids and shit there.
Right. It's like I'm about to flush a turd to go sail away. Watching the news or political shows all the time.
I guess that's all people share.
Yeah, wanting to sit in booths in restaurants and paying an exact change. I don't know about that. And then old crusty cough drops.
Okay. Firstly, it's old if you want to sit in a booth now? Like they're hip because they're at a table? What does that even mean?
Yeah, I know.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, I know.
Stupid kids.
It's like you can have hemorrhoids at any age, bruh. All right, let's go back through memory lane on here. As I have that all up. Okay, let's see what some of these. So much podcast ads are affiliate codes where they paid for product.
Right.
Code.
You got to say use my thing
That's true.
to get that 15%.
Imagine
off.
if we had that, Todd, back in the day though, when all that stuff was blowing up, and then like you guys could have actually got paid. I could have actually got paid. It would have been great. Let's see. Yeah, walking up the hill
both ways in the snow.
Uh-huh.
Right. Classic.
Yeah, my dad never pulled that bullshit with me, which is good. All right, let's see. So Adam Carolla, speaking of Adam Carolla, this was the infamous night. Adam Carolla was a smoker. I did not know that. Yeah, I found out when I went into the green room to apologize for doing a 20-minute stand-up set when I should have just introduced him.
So funny.
Yeah, it was brutal. And then he just made fun of my attire and everything else the entire time. Let's see. Oh, Fat Joe. Hip hop heads, little Fat Joe action. He was a dick.
You have like 19 different looks in just 19 photos. It's endless.
Yeah, that was me without a hat. For those who are wondering, I still had a lot of hair. Not a lot of hair. I mean, you see that forehead growing, and I still have hair.
Just the chin.
Just the chin. And I just started. I don't know if I could fully grow the beard yet, and I just started doing the morning show, so I wasn't fully rock and roll yet. I was in that in between Ross, because your style is what you can afford. And especially
so
if you lack,
for less, huh?
I was dressing for less. This is my like Ross style, just basic dude look. And then I started getting, with the chucks, and started getting rock and roll, but still have the New York hat and everything. Forgot her name. She's amazing. You should play a game like, did he smash?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Joe Coy again. Shorty was amazing. As far as co-hosts are concerned, she was one of my favorite. She doesn't like me now. She hasn't liked me. She's blocked me. She was done.
What'd you do?
It's not that I did anything, honestly. And I could say that you're like, oh well, no, I know you're kind of a dick. But those around were like, no, there was a change there. She just got to a point, and everyone will get to this point, especially when they're not getting paid. She got to a point where she was all in, and there was the three of us, me, Buddha, and Shorty. Had a solid show for almost like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 2 years not getting paid, right? And just waking up super early and doing this, and for a little amount of listeners, and growing the listeners, and really grinding it out. But yeah, it got to a point. She was kind of like a star fucker, and yeah, and then she just got to a point where it didn't matter, and anything I said, anything and everything I said is like a relationship. Anything and everything I said immediately was met with hostile, like blow back, and like, that's the dumbest thing anyone's ever said ever. And it's like, we can't joke anymore. Like, what's happening? So, and then it just got to the point, and then then she just like fucking walked. And it is heartbreaking though, because that was 2 years. I was super stoked and happy about what we were doing and building together. And I miss her, and I appreciate her 2 years of doing the show with me. It was such a big deal, and it helped the show grow so much. And I wish her well. I really hope that, I know that she's probably doing great, but I don't know, because I'm blocked on everything. Here's the first time
blocked though.
Yeah, blocked. Yeah. So when she left, she left to make sure, like, no, I'm never gonna fucking see or hear from you again, which is fucking brutal.
Yeah.
And Buddha's the one that actually fired her, and then she ended up butting up with Buddha after Buddha left. Because Buddha he needed money. He got desperate. He started like doing porn, not doing porn, but like setting up porn links from a website. And then he was posting that on the show page. Like, click here is like bait. And every click he would get, he'd get paid. But all those porn links had like phishing, spam and shit. Like, would give people viruses.
Yeah, especially back then.
Yeah. So I fucking like muted him on the page for a minute, being like, hey dude, you can't just be posting porn on our fucking Facebook page. He got mad and he quit on that. But again, he was at the end of his rope too, because he sacrificed a lot of time, and he just wasn't there financially. He's like, I need to take care of my family, and I get that.
No, I mean, it is legit.
If I had any money, I'd give it to him. But with Shorty, back to Shorty. So when I first met Shorty, I got her through a Craigslist ad. And this is how I initially got co-host to see who's hungry, who wants to get in the game. And I answered a Craigslist ad as well. So full circle. So fucking Shorty on her first day of her tryout, she comes to the house, and of course I'm doing the show. And she comes to the house at 5:30 in the morning. I'm just about to run to the gas station to get my little coffee. And my she knocks on the door and she's like, "Hey." And I'm like, "Oh, good, you're early." And she's like, "Yeah, I like being early. If you're not early, you're late." And right off the bat, I'm like, "I got it." I'm like, "That's awesome. All right, well, I'm gonna run to the gas station real quick. You can go set up right there, and I'll be right back." And she's like, "That's cool. I'm gonna go masturbate in your bed." And I go,
What?
yeah. But this is Shorty, right? She's amazing and she's gorgeous. And I'm like, well, my daughter's sleeping in my bed right now. And she's about 3 years old. So keep it down. And that was like, yeah, I mean, you look all disturbingly, but we hit it off swimmingly. It was fantastic. And
Tell me more maniacal stories about this person.
Oh,
Like
she's
she
great.
says that upon her hello for this thing.
yes. Oh, you kidding me? I was just like, you're the one.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and like I said, she was the one as far as on air.
Did she bang you immediately too, or no?
No. We never banged.
Okay.
She banged anyone who was famous, though. I think I missed an opportunity, but I started dating my girlfriend shortly after, and we were just kind of like brother sister.
Yeah, it's better that you didn't
There's
bang.
Brian
obviously.
Pasayan.
Yeah,
No.
he's the man.
I really do wish that I banged
Yeah?
her. Yeah, because she was smoking hot.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have lasted.
Yeah, but it still would have been good memory.
Yeah.
So Brian Pasayan was super cool. Got stoned with us after his show at the Improv. Got stoned with us during the show when he was in. He was super hip. Couldn't have been nicer. Let's see. See Shorty again. That's me in the Phoenix New Times. But you've seen that picture.
Mhm.
Us on the radio signal.
That's
Oh,
cool.
this was in Phoenix New Times as well. So
That's a cool picture.
Yeah. So we had Jamie Peachy was a professional photographer for Phoenix New Times, and I had that front page story that they did on me, which was a bucket list goal that I've always wanted to achieve, to be on the cover of the Phoenix New Times. Is a big deal.
I want to be on the Tucson Weekly.
Well,
It's down to 2 pieces of paper now, so we'll see.
yeah. So I know it's unfortunate because that's a goal to have, but when you finally get it now, it's just like, ugh.
It's not as big a deal. It's hard. It doesn't turn into much because, like the 5 on 20 news that we were doing back at the thing, we were doing our news show that turns into Keep Tucson Sketchy eventually.
Yeah.
Like we did that and they did a cover story, and it's like we were hoping some volunteers come in, whatever. 2 people showed up once and then never again. Like it was like, wow, it didn't move the needle,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want people to pay attention, but what you gonna do?
Yeah, you just gotta, just keep your nose to the grind, son. All right, let's see. This Bobby Black, editor of High Times magazine, and having him in and meeting him, and we hit it off with him so well, he actually put us in High Times magazine.
Oh,
yes,
nice.
yeah, national publication. That's Dustin Ibarra. Love that guy. Let's see. This is when my 6-pack tattoo was fresh. See how dark that is?
That's so funny.
Isn't that dark? You can see it well.
So funny.
And then Steve Burns.
Again, you don't even look like you there.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Well, first off, I needed that beard. I got the fat, and then I'm kind of like, it took me a while to learn how to take pictures, but see me like pushing the chin back, and I wasn't getting any pussy out for that picture. I'll tell you that much right now. All right. Good morning, Christina. It's all right that you laughed. He smashed and passed. Yeah. I'll show pictures. Be like, did I smash? I mean, that's a full
Smashed.
That's a game. In fact, you should put together a slideshow too. And be like, did you smash or did you pass? Oh, I can tell you don't like that idea.
I
With that
feel
laugh,
bad
like,
because I went through a good run
mhm.
and I just don't remember a ton of them. And I feel bad.
No, last night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So last night, my daughter sees her friend that she goes to high school with, and she says hi to her and everything. And then we're sitting back in her section, and she's texting her friends, texting her, and she goes, "My mom dated Powers." I'm like, "What? Dated Powers? Like, when was this?" It's like years ago. Now Powers can't even remember.
I don't.
Yeah, I saw a picture and everything. So this guy is such a man whore, just a slutty buddy. who's just spreading his seed all over Tucson, who's banging random ladies' moms and has no recollection of it whatsoever.
She wasn't a mom then. What do you want?
Oh, I think she was.
I love how you point out, wait, when were you here? When was
Exactly.
that? 16 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like,
I did the
shut up.
dad math and be like, that might be your kid that's at this concert. You need to go say hi. Rock 102.1 KFM. Hey, welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. Just if you think you may have been impregnated or spread the seed of certain powers, if powers may be the kid of your, or maybe the father of your illegitimate kid, then please call 600 KFMA
Listen,
right away.
I'm called daddy these days, not father. It's a big
I'm
difference.
the same. So last night we had an awkward and funny situation as Powers is out with his new girlfriend with us at Smashing Pumpkins. My daughter sees her friend that she goes to high school with, and then her friend really quickly realizes that her mom used to date Powers. This
I
guy
have no recollection.
is an anomaly for most because people are like, wait a second, you date? Like, you seemed asexual when I first met you. Like, you didn't have a side. You're just like, nah, I'm into, fun things. And sex is just like one of those things I don't even get into. And I was wrong.
Family friendly.
Yes, you
When
are
we
family
met.
friendly. And you're not asexual. It turns out you're a whore. And that's great. Good for you, buddy.
Man whore. That's
Yes.
different.
No, it's a unisex, universal thing.
No, you're right.
Whore.
Whore.
Yes, for men, women, and whatever you.
And that's not a bad word at all. That's not a. I love it. That's
Well, of
fine.
course you love it because, and then so we're like, okay, well, who is this mom? That's cool, like fun little memory. And then we say the name, and he's like, no recollection. And then say the last name, no. Show a picture, nah, I don't even remember that. But like, well, she remembers you, and you don't even remember what's on your bang list. Dear Lord, that's
She
whorish.
said you had to get it. You got to erase that notch on your bed. I
Yeah.
was laughing.
Yeah. Well, I have a line that I've said before that I've forgotten more than I remember, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate, right? That is my way of kind of whoring through life as well. Just having a good time, just going with the flow. And sometimes when you go with the flow, you end up meeting someone you didn't know
Yeah.
and go for a row. But with that, I didn't think that you were like-minded like that. I didn't think you were such a dirty whore. Is this studio sponsored by Chlamydia?
Listen, I love the ladies, and that's just what happens from time to time. And my 20s were wild, as were my early 30s, and my late 30s were pretty wild as well. Now I'm just bragging. It was a fun time. What you gonna do? I like to date.
And nobody can see you in your attire that you choose to wear on a regular basis and say that guy smashes.
That's right.
Even with your shirt saying Smash, but it's a Smash Brothers
I
shirt.
wore a
so-
Smash Brothers shirt.
Yeah. So it's a video game shirt for children, and you took that innocent branding and you turned it into the adult Smash. Good for you.
There you go.
You're disgusting.
Hey, listen, Mario gets that princess once in a while.
No.
Doesn't matter what castle she's in, he'll find her.
Okay. All right. Let's wrap things up with the beef tip right after we play some local age. Keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. All right. So it's ball busting. It's a ball
Ryan.
busting type of show. Huh.
Ryan, what do you? He goes, never saw Powers as a horny guy. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Aren't
Well,
all guys just a horny guy? It's just being a guy. Like, also,
our behind the scenes joke that we've talked about with Powers, when he started the show, and then this is how easily I corrupt. It's like black mold just spreading. But when he started the show, of course, he, comic book guy, family friendly entertainment, censoring his F words, stuff like that, not being overly sexualized on that because he's still keeping that brand. And then as he starts getting into the universe of the show and getting more adult, then starts dating a girl with, a very forward thinking, sexual and healthy sexual behavior and attitude. It turned him into full blown like freak mode. And I'm like, oh no, we gotta pull back and meet somewhere in the middle, man. Cause
so
he's
funny. Hey,
yeah,
listen,
he-
and Todd, I was getting laid at the beginning of the show. It just wasn't with a girl that was just clicking with. And it was all right.
wasn't braggable.
It wasn't, she was cute, but it also wasn't
That's very
fun.
nice of you.
Thank you.
Yes.
But it just wasn't, it just wasn't right. Right. So it's not even just about getting laid. I had some good sex with her. It was a great time. I told you a couple of those stories.
Yeah. She
All
was a beast.
So there is that. I
Right.
mean, there is that, but it is a real life thing. Like, and it was the radio show. This did help, and hanging out with you helped. You're a great guy, and you're very funny.
For real. I'm a
But
good wingman.
you are a good wingman. But you're a good big brother.
Yes. thank
Okay.
you.
And he's got a lot of good advice when it comes to this sort of stuff. And I can be a little wishful, like, give me some advice, or when I'm doing this, when I'm doing that, right? When it comes to girls,
Right.
It is just that. And I was going through this for the last several years, all about changing my whole brand to be more family friendly, and even my outlook. And a lot of it is just because of the world.
Right.
You know, it has been some of that. And I used to be the most offensive guy you would have ever met. I mean, I'm dead serious. That was my goal in college. And when I worked at Grill, I worked at Grill. If you lived in Tucson, went to Grill.
All right.
That was
Stay
the
focused.
restaurant
Yes.
that tells you, fuck, right?
You're multiversing though.
No, I'm not. Like, this is it. I'm telling you, like, I used to wear pants where one of my balls would hang out. And I would go, yeah, take a look at that. I'd laugh at you. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I was like. I was just so like, let's not wear deodorant. You like,
yeah.
just to like with people
Well,
and
that's
the world. Because punk
weird
rock,
offensive.
I used to have green hair. I used to just be like the world.
Right.
It really was.
Christina said that's his game. He looks innocent, but not really.
That's right. F-bomb. That was my nickname because I used to be so offensive and I used to say F all the time.
Right.
I'm glad I worked some of this out of me, but then it has been nice to go back to it. I'm serious because it's been like 4 years.
Yeah.
That I didn't even say a curse word on the internet on purpose.
How did you not explode internally? Like, that's got to be unhealthy for you.
No, because at home and with real friends, you can still make dick jokes and do whatever. But I very much publicly changed everything that I would do on stand-up comedy, improv comedy, and because of how offensive everyone was being. I got so sick of going to these open mics and you got a bunch of white kids trying to use the N-word and you got a bunch of people making pedophile jokes and you got a bunch of people just trying to be offensive and they think that's the joke.
Right.
So I then went and did some open mic stuff and I said, I'm going to do it completely G-rated as like the antithesis.
Yes,
And I got a lot of applause.
Good. Yeah. Well, it's harder to do clean comedy than it is to do.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of it. So it has been fun, but he's completely right. But he is forgetting that or not realizing that, no, back in the day, this is kind of who I am more than I am a family friendly guy.
All right, let's go through. That's good. But now we just got to find that middle ground. Oh, speaking of the High Times, this is the High Times article. So this was the cover of the High Times that we were in. And this is where we're featured in the High Times. Let me read this for you. This is a nice little stroll down memory lane. Hopefully I can zoom in good enough.
That's fantastic. Look at that.
Isn't that dope?
Yeah. That's a big deal.
Oh yeah. It's our first. It was our first. Now keep in mind, this is a 13-watt station in Phoenix, Arizona, non-commercial, right?
What?
I'm getting national press. And this is the first time, but not the last time that my show and station through my efforts got national press. And I tried to like put this on resume. These motherfuckers, it took me forever to get into commercial radio or quote unquote real radio, but because they don't even look at stuff like this. Be like, hey, how about, this is just making things happen. So what's it say here? Let's see if I said it many times. I don't believe in coincidence. I found that when people and events align in a way that seems clearly more chance than synchronicities tend to be more meaningful. It's going to be difficult for me to read, but it's a nice little write-up that he wrote about meeting the show, being part of the show, and it was meant to be. Bobby Black was like, this was fate. I'm like, fuck yeah, Bobby Black.
Let me ask
Make me weed famous.
Does he still own High Times? Is High Times still
He's
around?
the editor of High Times. High Times is still around. He's still, I don't know if he's still.
This is what I meant when back in the day when he started saying, I'm like, cash in every favor. Like, call everyone you've ever met and that because you deserve this. And you were cutting, your own path back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard, but you deserve to just jog some of these people and be like, hey, I'm doing this now. I am, but I still need it. Help me now.
Yeah.
Because why not? I don't know. I think it's important to just get some of that.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll do that. All right. Well, let's do. Did he smash? All right. This is Carrie Ann. I need you in the comments. I put smash or didn't smash.
You didn't smash.
Did
that.
I smash
No.
Carrie Ann?
No.
Well, let me see the comments.
Let's
I
see
will reveal
comments.
once
I'm
I get some
allowed-
comments.
I'm
Yeah.
allowed to say no
Why not?
viciously, like I'm attacking you. So that this way, when you can tell me that you did, I get to. So let's see.
Yeah. So the
What
beautiful
does she
Carrie Ann. Did I smash?
What does she do?
Well, I had her on the show. I mean, I produced her on the show. I recruited her because she was a hot chick on MySpace. She's a sweetheart of a lady. She actually banged Be Real. Yeah. All right. James says yes.
See,
Kyle says smash.
the answer is easy because, like, why would he show someone he didn't, right? Obviously. But keep going.
All right. All right. The answer is no, I did not
Oh,
smash.
good. I'm right. I wish you
know.
did, though. I was rooting for
So
you.
do I. Oh,
right.
there was a minute there that I thought I was in love with Carrie Ann.
I believe it.
Tree huggers would consider this a threesome.
That looks like it. Yeah.
Let's see. Salvia, just smoke some.
That's terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Just some random hot chicks. Okay, did I smash? Now, this was a stripper spelling bee. This is the first time I did stripper spelling bee.
Yes.
All right, let's see the comments here. Did I smash? Smash or no smash?
This is a fun game. We should have played this before Smashing
I know.
Pumpkins. We'll have to bring this up. We're still giving Smashing Pumpkins away.
Smash or no smash. And she looks like her. Oh, that was for the previous one. And Carrie Ann did have her life together, kind of. So, yeah, you're right. For the stripper right there, yes. And
Yeah, she's tiny.
yeah, she was fantastic. But the problem was it was right after Smash. I like strippers. You're right. I did at the time. That was a phase. The thing is, after I smashed, it was at my house. My mom comes over. Right, come on in, Austin. My mom comes over. Hold on, and then like completely embarrasses me, f my life's me, and like talks to this girl like it's my new like wife, and like I literally just kind of hooked up with this girl for the first time, and she just made it so cringeworthy that chick disappeared. Never heard from her again.
So funny.
Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents live on the radio here with Powers. Austin just jumped in as well. How you doing there, Austin?
I'm doing great, buddy. How are you?
Good. I was about to just get into a beef tip before we go. You all wrapped up and recovered from Smashing Pumpkins?
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm feeling great today.
Yeah, my beef tip is don't hit Austin's weed, man. You know,
He got smoked out.
yeah.
Yeah. I remember you turned to me last night and you were like, man.
Yeah, there was a good 15 minutes.
That was pretty much it.
Yeah, there was a good 15 minutes while I'm sitting down. Luckily, we had chairs, but I'm sure people felt like this in the lawn, and I would have just sat down on the lawn. There's a good 15 minutes where I wasn't freaking out, but I was just like, oh, I have no control over myself right now. For like good 15 minutes, right? Yeah, the nervousness and like, the sweats and like, am I going to pass out? Am I going to whatever? Just high. And then when I got past that wave, I felt amazing. It was almost like a burst of life. The adrenaline kicked in. And you're like, you're still alive. You got this. And then, so that just thanks to Austin there. Hey, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
I know Powers loved it.
Good times, great memories, brother.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome. We had
Yeah.
a good time.
His tolerance is ridiculous, though.
I
So
know. Me and Austin could go.
yeah, and we were
all
talking.
all day.
Yeah, that's good. Brag about it. But we were talking about how Austin was talking about the aftermath of his drinking urine and how his family reacted to it. What's been the overall conversations you've been getting on social media from your friends and family?
Social media wise, well, Powers sent me a link to my timeline, which was hilarious. A
Yeah.
little clip from Dumb and Dumber.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom had commented on it saying definitely a proud mom moment. for me
Yeah, yeah.
right there, with a few dots after, which indicates
Probably not.
yeah.
Yeah. But and then you were telling me too that I thought initially you were like, oh, it took all the taste away. I taste nothing. And then you're like, well, actually, no, I did taste a little something.
Just a little bit. It was like distilled pee.
Oh, yeah. But you did win yourself a brand new Life Straw.
Legend.
That's a retail value of $19.99.
Worth it.
Yes, absolutely. And it's good for up to a year, and it can save you in all different survival scenarios. And in 2022, you never know what might happen. They might say, hey, microplastics will be literally the death of you immediately if you don't filter out your water. You got a Life Straw that you could be able to filter every one of your bottled waters and get all those microplastics out. Now, it still may taste like pee, but you'll have no microplastics.
And I'll look back at this moment and thank you for it.
Yeah, exactly. You're welcome. I'm here to help. That's what I do. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for the show today.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, this Monday flew by quickly, but that's cool. We're still recovering for the weekend. Tomorrow morning and every morning this week, we're giving away tickets for Stained at Alva Amphitheater and Smashing Pumpkins again, but this time with Jane's Addiction when they perform at the Footprint Center up in Phoenix on November 18th. All week long, you can win tickets to those shows. We have that, plus we'll have more sprinkled throughout the week as well. Enjoy the rest of your day. Riley's up next. Drive safe, ride safe, and as always,
Rock local.
later. Peace, guys. Thanks for checking out.
Wait, are you wearing the same clothes as last night? Have you taken a shower at all?
Will come and
That's what
empty
you
all
wore
your
yesterday.
griefs. But if you've been mean or kind of bad, I will knock out all your teeth.
Right. You wore that when you drank pee.
Yes.